Hi everyone from Sydney, Australia. It's 2:02 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, Sunday, the 24th of May, 2026. I'm here to discuss one of the articles that I have written that I wrote last year. The title is Bite-Sized Emotions: Unpacking the Connection Between Food and Feelings. I'm here to discuss this article because it stands out to me today, and it's prevalent these days that most people in our prevalent based worlds that we're living in are dependent or highly dependent on emotional triggers, emotional distress, in order to cope for those pressures of life in the past lives. They tend to eat more based on emotions. And this article explores the intricate relationships between food and feelings, and delving into why it happens, its effects, and how to manage it effectively. How we deal with emotions based on the food intake that we put in our body. What is emotional eating? Again, we have to understand the difference between emotions and physical hunger. There's two different definitions. Emotional hunger is a prevalent these days because it can be negative, it can be positive as well. And all of a sudden, it can be negative in a way of we deal with emotions, let's say fear, shame, guilt, loneliness, stress, worry, boredom, is anger as well. That's how we deal with our emotions. Is to basically simplify that, or in a way, deal with that is to tend to depend on the food intake that we put on our body on a day-to-day basis. It can be positive emotion as well. It can be like a happiness or elation based on events, based on Christmas parties, funerals, based on festivities, Christmas party, or any events or birthday parties that tend to eat more based on large portion sizes, based on elation or happiness. That's a positive sign of emotions. But again, at the end of the day, it depends on the portion and size of food intake that we put in our body on a day-to-day basis. That's all it is. We need to have that kind of balance, whether it's a negative emotion or positive emotion. At the end of the day, it's the portions of the food intake that we put in our body. And the effects of emotional eating, it can have a large impact in our body, a physicality, our emotion, physiological and mental side as well. It can trigger the weight gain. It can help chronic health issues later on. It can give you an emotional distress. Okay, so not only we're dealing with emotions, but we're dealing with physiological side. And for those people who were, like deep into chronic illnesses that highly dependent on emotions, I suggest you seek professionals' help in order to, manage that and to challenge that kind of emotional eating. It's a problem, and should I say, it's a prevalent epidemic these days that most people rely on food intake based on emotions that have experienced, that they are experiencing, based on the world or fast-paced world that they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis in our contemporary society these days. Again, it can be emotional eaters. You can be considered as emotional eaters or what we call a restrained eaters. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what matters most is the portion and the food intake that you put in your body on a day-to-day basis. And again, I'm here to discuss as well how we manage our emotional eating. We have to basically, in a way, some people do food journaling, but I think it's highly probable in the busiest, like a fast-paced world that we're living in, most people don't have enough time to do that food journaling. But if you have a chance to do the food journal, then that will be highly advisable. And for that, we have to, in a way, another one to deal with that kind of emotional eating is we have to pause on before we eat. We have to think about, hey, is this the right one, right portion type of thing? Some people delve in that straight away. I myself is one of those guilty ones because, especially the positive ones, the positive emotion sides, most especially in events or Christmas festivities or Thanksgiving or anything like that, or any birthday parties or party or events, I tend to eat more large portion myself. I myself is guilty of that. Emotional eating based on elation, based on happiness. That's how we deal with that. So I indulge in that. However, I make sure within 24 hours after I had eaten that kind of food, I have minimum exercise, low impact exercise like walking or walking your dog outside your house. Again, the environment as well does help. We have to change the environment. If we tend to be alone in our house or tend to delve into games, or if you're a gamer, you tend to sit around the house and do nothing, then that has an impact to your mental side, that can make you unmotivated to do something, to exercise. So we tend to eat more. So again, change of environment can have a large impact based on your change of mindset, change of environment. Also, how we deal with anxiety and depression as well, and exhaustions and depression, things like that, is on the basis of the environment and the food intake that we take and what kind of food that we eat on a day-to-day basis. That's a dramatic effect, and also the size, the portion size as well. We have to be mindful of the practical mindful eating. We have to be mindful of the food intake that we do on a day-to-day basis, not on the basis of emotion, not on the basis of restrained eating as well, but on the basis on physical hunger. That if we are hungry, we eat. But again, on the portion size, we tend to delve into like triggers that we tend to eat more on the unhealthy food like sweets, cakes, anything like that tends to be more choices, food choices to most people these days. However, you can still eat that, but small portions. That's how I do it. That way, I don't deprive myself, and I don't deprive yourself with any food. You can eat any kind of food as long as small portion, and also actually a small portion and actually a balanced diet as well. Again, if you are experiencing a chronic illness, we need to seek a professional's help. Weight gain, obesity, or any chronic illnesses that are basically connected with your high blood pressure, high sugar level. Again, seek professional help. It's going to affect your health based on emotional eating. Okay. So to conclude that, there's a connection between food and feelings is deeply personal and complex. It both work ways biologically and psychologically, and based on the culture and traditional side as well. It's very complex. And emotional eating, whether driven by stress, joy, or habit, can be a habit as well. It can become harmful in cycle if it becomes unchecked or out of hand. Okay, so again, by recognizing the signs of emotional eating, we have to recognize that, and we have to understand the kind of triggers, what triggers you, and we need to in place strategies how we can adapt well and how we can challenge that kind of emotional eating. And individuals can reclaim that if we have that kind of balance of understanding and reminder and awareness, then we can reclaim that control over our relationships with food, and how we deal with emotions equals food. And based on the scientific research, it was highlighted as well that these days we need to challenge that on a day to day basis. It's not only one off, it's forever, as long as we are alive. Ultimately, it's about finding a healthier ways to address emotions and making food choices that nourishes our body and mind. A right food, right mindset. By taking small, mindful steps, those bite-sized moments, okay, we have to be aware about that as well, and remind ourselves that hey, small portions or size portions is enough. Okay, no deprivation. We don't have to deprive ourselves. However, portion size, and so that in a way it equates to we can transform our relationships with food, or our relations with food and emotions, for the better outcome lifestyle in life. Have a good day, to all, and talk to you guys later. And think of something that will be more insightful and more meaningful article to discuss based on our fast-paced world that we're living in, our contemporary society or community around us. Have a good day, to all, from Sydney, Australia. It's 2:11 p.m. Sunday, 24th of May, 2026. Talk to you guys later. Bye for now.